Welcome to my channel Learning Values with Ayeshiki. Hello everyone, my name is Ayeshiki. So today is the 13th day of this series on how to speak in English fluently in just 30 days. So today I am going to read a story on Hansel and Gretel. So let's begin with our story. Hansel and Gretel. Once there lived a woodcutter near a huge forest. He had two children, a son named Hansel and a daughter named Gretel. After his wife's death, the woodcutter had married again, but his second wife did not love her husband's children. She treated them hastily and made them do all the household chores. The woodcutter knew about this, but he could not do nothing to help his children. One day the woodcutter's wife thought, I must find a way to get rid of these children. So she went to her husband and said, We have little food to eat, so I have decided to leave the children in the forest. The woodcutter was stunned and said, How can you be so cruel? I will not leave my children in the forest. His wife, however, continued to nag him until he agreed. The next morning, the woodcutter and his wife took Hansel and Gretel to the forest. They walked into the forest until they reached a clearing. Then the woodcutter said, Children, go and collect some twigs. Take some pebbles with you to mark the way. Meet us there in the evening. We will return soon, father said. Gretel, as she and Hansel went further into the forest, the woodcutter looked longingly at his children as they walked away. Hansel had meanwhile kept some pebbles in his hand and the remaining in his pocket. As the two children walked ahead collecting twigs and small branches, Hansel kept dropping the pebbles to mark their way. Come quickly, Hansel, or we won't be able to return to father on time, said Gretel. I am coming, Gretel, said Hansel, as he rushed forward to keep us with his sister. Hansel and Gretel continued to gather twigs and went deeper and deeper into the forest. After a while, Hansel realized that he had run out of pebbles. Gretel, do you have any pebbles? Asked Hansel. Gretel said, No, I don't have any. Never mind, said Hansel. I think we have collected enough twigs. Let us go back. But as Hansel and Gretel retraced their steps, they could see no pebbles marking their way. Gretel, scared, asked, Are we lost? Hansel looked at her and nodded. Do not be afraid, Gretel. We will find our way back. Hansel consoled his sister. Once again, together, the children tried to find their way home, but it was hopeless. Instead of coming out of the forest, they kept going deeper and deeper. Hansel, what shall we do now? Asked Gretel, scared as evening drew near. Don't lose hope. We will reach home, said Hansel. By evening, the children were starving. They had nothing to eat all day. Suddenly, Hansel saw a small cottage at a distance. Gretel, look, cried Hansel. You are hungry, I hope. The cottage was made of cakes, cookies, bread, and chocolate. Filled with delight, Gretel said, Let us get to work. No sooner had the two children reached the cottage, they had torn a piece of each of the window and began eating it. Well, it was made of chocolate. It's delicious, said Gretel. Amid a mouthful, it is, said Hansel. Let us try the cake as well. Hansel and Gretel had been merrily eating the roof when they heard someone. Then a shrill voice asked, Who had been nibbling away all at my house? At once, Hansel and Gretel stopped eating. Then they saw an old woman coming towards them. She had a pointed hat on her head and carried a crooked cane. Ah! Have you two been nibbling at my house? Seeing her, Hansel and Gretel became scared. We were lost in the forest and were hungry. We saw your house and could not help but eat it, said Hansel, frightened. Hearing this, the woman said, "Do not be afraid, children. Come inside my cottage, and I shall give you something delicious to eat, or I am afraid you will eat my house." Then she led Hansel and Gretel inside her cottage. The old woman served Hansel and Gretel a delicious meal to eat, but the children did not know that old woman in reality was a wicked witch. Her house was a means to attack children. Hansel and Gretel were now trapped. No sooner had Hansel finished his meal than the witch took him to her backyard. There she locked up Hansel in a cage. Hansel and Gretel were too stunned to say anything. "Once you get fat, I will eat you," the witch told Hansel. Poor Gretel had realized that they were in trouble, but what could she do? Meanwhile, the witch had commanded Gretel, saying, "Every day you must cook delicious meal for your brother. I will eat him when he will get fat." The helpless little girl obeyed her. Then every day the witch started to check Hansel if he had grown fat. Now Hansel had understood that the witch had weak eyesight. Hansel therefore tricked the witch every day. Each day Hansel showed the witch a twig instead of one of his finger. One day the witch became furious. She cried in her anger, "I cannot wait anymore. You are not getting fat, but I will surely eat you today." Then she stormed inside the hut and commanded Gretel to light a fire and put a cauldron on it. While Gretel was lighting the fire, the witch thought, "Why don't I eat her before eating her brother?" Thinking thus, the witch went up to Gretel and said, "Step inside the oven and check whether it is hot enough." "I don't know how to check the oven," said Gretel, for she had guessed the witch's wicked plan. So, muttering under her breath, the witch crept inside the oven. No sooner had the witch crept near the oven than Gretel pushed her inside the oven. Then she shut the oven door behind her. Before the witch could understand what was happening, she locked inside the oven. The witch died within minutes. Gretel, meanwhile, had ran outside to free her brother. "We are free, the witch is dead," cried Gretel, delighted, as she opened the door to Hansel's cage. Filled with joy, the two children danced. After a few minutes, Hansel and Gretel returned to the witch's cottage and packed some food for their journey back home. Just then they saw a huge chest filled with gold coins. Hansel and Gretel picked up as much gold coins as they could carry with them. Once again they started to look for a way home. This time they found their home easy. When their father saw them, he was delighted. The children learned that their stepmother had gone away, and with the witch's gold, the woodcutter and his children led happy lives. If you liked my today's video, then please like and comment my video, and also subscribe my channel to listen to more such stories and to follow all my videos regularly. And don't forget to click on the bell icon. Thank you.